What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the Philly Sports Power Hour with Bill Colarulo. What a night last night. What a night if you are a Philadelphia sports fan. My God. We got Joel. We got Bryce Harper. We're going to get into it because I have to admit that I was completely wrong yesterday. How dare I? How dare I question Bryce Harper? I want to bow down to Bryce Harper. I am not worthy. Holy crap. What Bryce did at the bank last night. He was unconscious last night. But anyway, we'll get into it. Normally on Wednesdays, we are joined by Kayla Santiago, but we're going to flip it a little bit, and we're going to be joined later on in the show by my man, Mark Farzetta. So I'm looking forward to talking to Farzy about the Sixers and about the Phillies. And I don't think I've had a chance to talk to Farzy about the Haason Reddick trade yet. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But what a night last night. What a night. Let's get a little roll call in the chat. Looks like people are still strolling in. We got Twiz in the house, Carlos Drew, Slimville Slugger in the building, William Stark, my man flexing and stepping, Jason A-Team, Fanny Eagles fan in the house, Steve Ike in the house. Slimville, trade and Bede. We'll talk about it. But Slimville Slugger, trade and Bede. Haason Reddick's story is obvious. He didn't fit Vic's scheme. Flyers are in the hunt, and baseball will be like the stock exchange. Print it, go Bill. Love it. We don't even need to do a show. Slimville just summarized it all for us. My man. Crawley, Eric Gallagher, Bry Guy. Who else we got here today? MC. Who we got checking in on TikTok? We got my man Gary Williams. We got Carly Burnett, although she's a New York Giants fan. No, Yankees fan. Oh, boy. We got a Yankees fan in the chat. But like I said, we'll be joined a little later by Mark Farzetta. But let's start with, I don't know who I want to start with Embiid or Bryce Harper, because both of our stars in this city went nuts last night. Let's talk about Joel Embiid. Good morning to Kevin Savard. Good morning to Wolverine. Jason Howell in the house on TikTok. But let's talk about Joel Embiid first. So, yesterday morning on the show, it appeared that Joel was not going to play last night. In fact, up until about 5:30 last night, Joel Embiid was listed as out. And then all of a sudden, around 5:45, we get word that Joel was upgraded from out to questionable. Then you saw the line move. The odds for the game dropped significantly. So you started thinking, is there a chance that Joel Embiid is coming back to the court? And I see Crowley saying he didn't go nuts last night. Joel Embiid went nuts last night, Crowley. To play, well, how many minutes he played last night? 29 minutes. 24 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 12 of 12 from the free throw line. Come on, man. Give the guy some credit here. Yeah, it's not a 70-point performance. But what he did last night, and they win the game. But Joel Embiid comes out, does his pregame warm-up, decides he's ready to go. Now, unfortunately, no Tyrese Maxey last night. Come on. You guys are so critical. 6 turnovers. It was the first time the guys played since January 30th. You weren't happy with Joel Embiid's performance last night after not playing since January 30th? You weren't happy with that performance? We're going to just point to the fact that he had 6 turnovers? Yeah, he was rusty. Of course he was rusty last night. Guy hasn't played. Man, you guys are tough, man. You guys are tough. Yes, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they didn't have SGA. They didn't have Jalen Williams. The Sixers didn't have Tyrese Maxey, okay? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it was a wonderful win the whole storyline from the night is that Joel Embiid is back. Guys, come on. We're really going to continue with the negativity today? Joel Embiid comes back after not playing since January 30th. He plays close to 30 minutes. He drops 24 points. He dishes out 7 assists. He's a perfect 12 of 12 from the free throw line. They win the game, and now we want to say, yeah, but he had 6 turnovers. Come on, man. 6 turnovers. That's what we want to focus on today. That Joel Embiid had 6 turnovers last night. Come on. Stop. I can't wait to see. What Joel Embiid and this team can do together. And we talked about it yesterday on the show. I don't have crazy visions that they can get past Boston. I don't. But if you look at this team right now, if Joel Embiid can be healthy, and last night was a good start. He looked rusty. He had 6 turnovers, okay? I'll give it to you. He had 6 turnovers. But he didn't favor that knee. He didn't shy away from contact. Yes, he looked extremely tired. But you could start to see what this offense could be. And remember, no Tyrese last night. But when you add Tyrese Maxey to this offense, and then you also get a couple of games under your belt with Joel playing with Buddy Hield, playing with Kyle Lowry, getting more comfortable with Kelly Oubre. How could you not feel better today than you did last week about this Sixers team? And trust me, I know they have broken our hearts every single season. They can't get out of the second round. I get it. But how could you not look at this team and be a little bit hopeful that they're going to be in the playoffs? They're guaranteed to be in the playoffs. The only question is, are they an 8 seed, a 7 seed, or a 6 seed? 6 seed will probably be hard to get because they'd have to catch the Indiana Pacers. Right now, they're sitting at an 8 seed, which would be the play-in tournament. The team that's right above them, the Miami Heat, also played last night and won, so there's a game and a half separating them. Well, guess who the Sixers play on Thursday night? They play the Miami Heat on Thursday. So all of the possibilities and all of the hopes that we had for this Sixers team going into the season are right in front of us right now. And one of the main issues that we have every single season is that Joel Embiid isn't healthy come playoff time. Well, he's going to be healthy this time. He's back. He's cleared. He's going to continue to ramp up over the next 6 games to get ready for either a 7-game series, if they get to the 6th seed, or a play-in game against probably Miami, 7th or 8th seed. If the Sixers can get to a 7th seed, then they would play Miami at home. And if they win, they're now the 7. We talked about this yesterday. And the weird way that the NBA does their bracket format, they would avoid Boston until the Eastern Conference Finals. And you tell me, I'm going to talk to you, Flexen. I'm going to talk to Flexen and Steppen right now. You tell me, if you're another team in the Eastern Conference, if you would like to play the 76ers in the playoffs. I wouldn't. And some new pieces, campaign, double-double last night, 10 points, 10 rebounds. Oubre dropped 25 again. Paul Reed had a nice first quarter, 6.6 boards. But I also want to talk about the Phillies. Because like an idiot yesterday, I made the mistake of tweeting out, and then we talked about it on the show yesterday. Should we be concerned about Bryce Harper? I actually put into words, what's up, Bridget? I actually put into words on Twitter, should we be concerned about Bryce Harper? And the reason that I posted that was because you looked at Bryce Harper, and it wasn't only the first 3 games of the season where he was 0-11. He was 0 for 11 in the first 3 games. But it wasn't just that. I also looked at his spring training and said, man, what's going on with Bryce? He was 5 of 28 in spring training. He was batting 179. He had no home runs through 39 at-bats, spring training in the regular season. And he just looked off. So I put out the tweet, should we be concerned? And I even said, it's a marathon, but I'm starting to get a little bit worried. Well, you talk about a tweet coming back to haunt you. My God. Last night, Bryce Harper, not one, not two, but 3 home runs, and the last one, grand slam home run, 6 RBIs. His OPS jumped to 1.094. Are you kidding? And the best part about Twitter is I don't know how people even see those tweets. Like, I tweeted that out yesterday morning, and as soon as Bryce started hitting his home runs, I got people retweeting me, quote tweeting me, commenting to me. Like, it was almost like they just saved it. They, like, bookmarked that crap just so they could come back and get me. And guess what? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every second of it because I didn't want to be right. I didn't want to have to be worried about Bryce. I love Bryce Harper, man. And I will never, ever, ever question him again. The guy looked not human last night. So he hits 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. Phillies win 9-4. And how about the performance of Spencer Turnbull? Gets the start last night. Had Tommy John surgery last year. He goes 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, and 7 strikeouts. 7 strikeouts. And I see on TikTok Jim Joyce saying, yes, I will question Bryce Harper again. I will never question him again, Jim. And trust me, this is coming from a Bryce Harper fan. If you ask my fiance who's in the chat on YouTube, I love Bryce Harper. And the purpose of my tweet wasn't to say, oh, Bryce Harper stinks. I just said, hey, is something going on with him? Because he just didn't look right. He hadn't even hit a fly ball all year. He had like 1 fly ball that he was able to hit. So I'm like, hey, is something going on? Well, nothing's going on with Bryce. He's just fine. And I'm telling you, you pin this. If I ever question Bryce Harper again, you come at me. Because I will never question that man again. And it would be an absolute crime if he doesn't get a World Series in this town. I love that man. But Spencer Turnbull, great story, great outing last night. He gets the win. But how about Ricardo Pinto? So they designate Connor Brogdon, get him out of here after his bad performance. Kind of feel bad for him. Get him out of here after his bad performance. And then they call up Ricardo Pinto. So they send a car for him to come to Citizens Bank. He hits traffic. He doesn't get there until the 4th inning. And when he gets there, they actually put him in the game. So he gets there in the 4th inning, and then he has to pitch. What did he get in? The 6th inning? Yeah, he gets in the 6th inning. And he throws 4 innings, only gives up 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and picks up the save. What a night in South Philly last night. But all Flexen wants to talk about is that Joel Embiid had 6 turnovers. What a night we had in South Philly. But you guys in the chat want to talk about Joel's 6 turnovers. Come on. Feel good for once. Let's feel good today. It was a great night in South Philly. Love it. So the Phillies, it's a marathon. You can't get too excited or too low with any game or any start to the season. And I learned that yesterday, questioning my man, Bryce Harper. But what's not a marathon right now is the 76ers because they only have 6 games left. We got to see how they can gel over the next 6 games. Big game Thursday night against the Miami Heat. It's also not a marathon for the Philadelphia Flyers, and we talked about them yesterday as they're on their playoff push. Because on Friday, they got a big game. They're back in action. It'll be interesting to see who gets the start in net, whether it's Fedotov or Ayerson. And we're still on the Philadelphia Eagles offseason. So I'm going to talk to Farzi after the break about the Haason Reddick situation a little bit. But we're going to spend a lot of time. You know, Farzi loves the Phillies. So we'll talk some Phillies. We'll talk some Sixers. We'll talk about Reddick. I know that it was reported yesterday by Cilio that Vic Fangio didn't want him. Now, I can't confirm or deny that report. I haven't reached out to anybody yet to confirm it. But I will say this, if that is in fact the case, it doesn't make any sense to me. It absolutely doesn't make any sense to me that a defensive coordinator who has 20 years of experience as a defensive coordinator in the NFL can't figure out a way to use a player with Haason Reddick skills. That just doesn't make sense to me. A good defensive coordinator would figure out you take your best players and you build a scheme around them. You don't force players to fit your scheme. So, Brandon Lewis doesn't believe in Sills. Twiz wants Flexen fired. What's going on in the chat? I haven't been following. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll bring on my man Mark Farzetta. We'll talk some Sixers, some Phillies, a little bit of Eagles, and we'll see what his thoughts are on our Fly Guys as well. So go ahead, hit that like button for me, hit that share button for me. We'll be right back.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing, the second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs, and then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
And the big story on Action News?
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Philly Sports Power Hour with Bill Colarulo. It's Wednesday, but we switched things up a little bit today. And it was a great day to switch things up because what a night in South Philly with the Phillies and the Sixers. So who better to talk to than my man, Mark Farzetta, joining the Power Hour. What's going on, my brother?
You know, I can think of nobody on the planet Earth
That would be better to talk to me. I think you're exactly right. I think you're dead on accurate as per usual. Big Bills. What's going on, brother?
Big Bills in the house.
What's up, bud?
So, what do you want to talk about first? The Phillies or the Sixers, man?
John Tortorella. I want to talk about John Tortorella and how much I just love John Tortorella. I love that it was such a specific shot. Like I'm not. It wasn't about the whole game. It was the second period. About everyone, the way they played. It was terrible. Embarrassing to sweater. That's my dead-on accurate John Tortorella impression. But other than that, Bryce Harper hit 3 home runs. So that's cool. Joel Embiid came back. I had the same trouble this morning starting the show. I was thinking about it, and I actually caught SportsCenter. SportsCenter highlighted Joel Embiid twice. They opened SportsCenter with Joel Embiid, and then they went back to him at like the midway point of the show. You know, sometimes they go back and do the tease again, or they hit the top story. So I'm like, all right, if SportsCenter is doing Joel Embiid's return twice, they're barely covering Bryce Harper's three home run night, I'm going to open with Joel Embiid, especially with the playoff implications being right there. Being that they have 58 more games to play, I think I can afford to not lead with baseball this one time.
So I want to go back to torts because we do have a lot to talk about. I want to just go back to torts for a second.
Yeah.
Right before you came on, we were live on TikTok as well. And one of the questions I got from the TikTok crew was, do you think Tortorella has lost this locker room? And I don't think that, but I do think you're going to see how does this Flyers team respond to being called out in that post-game presser. The couple days off should be a good rest few days for them. But what do you think happens with this Flyers team down the stretch? You think they're going to make the playoffs? You think they're going to respond to that?
I really hope so. But look, before the season started, we said this wasn't a talented team. We said, give me meaningful games in April, essentially, like we talk about, in other sports. Just get us to that last month of the season when we're talking about the opportunity to make the playoffs. And they have exceeded that. Now a 5-game losing streak has kind of brought them back down to reality. This might be the last-ditch effort. Because one thing, from what I understand, for people that know John Tortorella a lot better than I do, what I've heard about him is he is saying all this stuff in the locker room. He's saying all this stuff in the dressing room, in hockey, the dressing room. He's saying everything to this team that he just said in the media. Maybe this was the last-ditch effort, the last rallying cry, the last attempt at motivation to maybe tap into that dressing room and actually get the players that he hasn't been able to reach. I mean, saying that you embarrassed the Flyer jersey, that's not great. Even though it was just the second period, that's a message to the rest of the team. They look like they responded a little bit with more heart in that third period. Obviously, Fedotov,
I
responded by well. Yeah,
before I say his name, because you want to call him Fedotov, right?
Fedotov. Yeah, what the hell did I spend the last 40 years practicing Russian names for? All of a sudden, you got a dough in there. That's not cool.
Every time I have to pause before I say his name to Fedotov. It'll flow. It's the same thing like when they first made the big trade to get Eric Lindros. It took me a while to get Lindros.
Yeah, I mean, God, Claude Giroux gets drafted and Bobby Clark forgets his name entirely. I mean, come on. These are names that are tough names we've been learning over the course of our lifetime, friend.
But it's a fun time to be a Philly sports fan right now. It hasn't been great over the last week because of some losses, but we got the Flyers in a playoff push. And let's talk about the Sixers because 6 games left and the big man comes back last night. Before you joined in the chat, I'm talking about how excited I was about Embiid, and I got some of my Power Hour crew saying, yeah, but he had 6 turnovers. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me, Farzy. Make this make sense, please.
All right. I hate this term. I really hate this term, and I never use this term. All right? I never use this term, but I'm going to use it, and I'm going to apologize in advance for using this term. Hopefully, you don't have to blip it out, but there you go. Ready? Casuals.
Oh.
Casuals, my friend. If you're looking at 6 turnovers from Joel Embiid and you're going, big turnovers, I'm saying casual. I am casting the casual light upon you, you casual sports fan. Look, first game back, they were giving the ball to him almost every time down the court. A guy that plays 29 minutes that has a usage rate like that is going to have turnovers. And here's the other thing. Generally speaking, if you look, I haven't looked at the turnovers in the NBA and who's leading, but you know who's generally leading that? Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry, LeBron. Those guys are all pretty damn good players, right? The reason they turn the ball over so much is because they have the ball in their hands so much to begin with. And a guy like Joel Embiid, he's going to have the ball in his hands quite a bit. So turnovers for me, 6. Do you like to see it? Obviously not. But for me, in his first game back, that was nowhere near the headline. The headline for me was that he played 29 minutes, and it looked like he absolutely had to gut out 29 minutes on the floor. This is a guy that is notorious for getting out of shape rather quickly. And this is a guy that has now been on a 2-month layoff with a lower body injury, with a knee injury. So, cardio is not exactly his top priority. Yeah. He's only going to get that when he comes back and he's fully cleared to play. 29 minutes, the fact that he pushed through what looked like he looked like the 4 minutes he played last night in the first quarter, I thought, oh, he's cooked. I set the bar at like 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I'll be like, they'll be lucky to get to 15 with Joel Embiid in this game. He gutted out 29 minutes. He'll play himself back into shape. The one takeaway I wanted that I thought was realistic going into the game, all right, just give me this and I'll be happy. Show me the knee's healthy. That knee looked healthy. In his first 4 minutes, he brought the ball up the floor once. He beat, I can't remember who it was with OKC, beat him to the ball on a loose ball situation. So he was able to get a little bit of a giddy up there. He did not shy away from contact. He made a jumper over a double team. And then after that was absolutely gassed and did not run the floor and was taken out at the 4-minute mark. Or 4 minutes into the first quarter. And then after that, played 25 more minutes and through a lot of it came up clutch, especially when you talk about his free throws at the end of the game. 12 for 12. If fatigue's going to get you, you would think, he's not going to go 12 for 12 from the free throw line, but that's what he did last night. So I loved what I saw from Embiid. The fact that he still helped the Sixers get willed to a win, and Kelly Oubre, shout out to him for how he played down the stretch as well. I thought it was great. It was all great from Joel Embiid last night.
So Crawley, one of the people you referred to as a casual. And I appreciate Crawley. So he's saying he didn't say that he wasn't impressed. He said that I said that Joel Embiid went nuts, and Joel Embiid did not go nuts.
I believe K. Raleigh. I call him K. Raleigh. Maybe I should call him Crawley. I'm sorry.
Maybe it is K. Raleigh.
I don't know.
So I said he went nuts. I did say he went nuts to start the show, but what I meant was he went nuts in that, he was back. He played 29 minutes. He put up 25 or 24 points. So to me, after not being on the court since January 30th, I was over the top impressed. Over the top impressed. And you talk about his conditioning, which you can't duplicate or replicate, I should say, until you're doing it on the court. How about that big steal at the end of the game? I mean, he steals it. He's running down the court. He gets fouled, gets to the free throw line, makes them both. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. I mean, what do you think? I don't want to get my hopes up because obviously Boston is a phenomenal basketball team.
Yeah.
But if over the next 6 games, this team can start to gel, and you have Kelly Oubre now playing the way he's playing. Tyrese Maxey wasn't on the court last night. Buddy Hield gets used to playing with Joel, which Nick Nurse talked about after the game. Buddy Hield needs to be a little bit more patient. He's going to learn that you're going to get your shots simply by Joel being on the court, and I think all that will come. Kyle Lowry, campaign. I mean, what do you think this team can do? Realistically, is it okay to have a little bit of hope, Farsi?
Well, I'm never going to tell anyone not to have hope, but I'll also tell those people that hope isn't exactly the finest strategy. I have hope that they'll make it out. Look, you don't know. Hey, to me, a lot of this is more about Tyrese Maxey and how far he has really come with Joel Embiid being out. I've noticed over the last month, you've really seen a lot more from Kelly Oubre. In the first month, February, without Joel Embiid playing at all, Tyrese Maxey had his best month of the season. He averaged just under 28 points per game. He upticked about 2.5 points per game, which was great to see him go up. Now he's come down a little bit more back down to earth previous to this hip tightness that he's experiencing. I don't see them beating the Celtics. I see them, if they're able to draw the Bucks, they could beat the Bucks. But the benefit the Sixers have had is that they have had that high seed over the last couple of years, and they've faced more of the bottom tier opponents to almost guarantee at least a second round playoff appearance.
Yeah.
If they're able to get, if they're able to avoid the play-in tournament, anything's on the table. If they're in the play-in tournament and they draw the Bucks, they still have a great opportunity to make it that second round, and then potentially the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. But I got to say, I know we get caught up in that because we haven't seen the Sixers play past the Game 7 of the second round since the days of Allen Iverson. And obviously, we've never seen Joel Embiid play in the Eastern Conference. That, to me, is not the bar anymore. And I know everyone said, I shouldn't say everyone, but I know a lot of people, I'll even say too many people, look at that as if it's the bar. That was the bar for a 25, 26-year-old Joel Embiid-led Sixers team. That's not the bar anymore for a 30-year-old Joel Embiid. It's NBA Finals, man. This team has got to make – they will right a lot of the wrongs that we have gone through over the last 8-9 years as Sixers fans if they're able to make it to the NBA Finals this year. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm not saying they're going to do it. I'm just saying they're going to right a lot of those wrongs and really expedite, no pun intended, the process for what was a long, long wait to see this team truly contend for an NBA title.
So you're setting the bar at the NBA Finals. You know what's crazy, and I think we may have talked about this before. You're my age, right?
I'm 41. Yeah.
So you were a baby in 1983 when they won it. In our lifetime,
Bill, I was loosely named after Mark Ivoroni.
Really?
Loosely. My name was inspired. He was acquired in August of 82. I was born in September of 82. My dad, fellow Italian-American, just like Mark Ivoroni, said, I kind of like this Mark Ivoroni guy. Italian guy played for the Sixers. Who would have thought? Ran it by his oldest brother. Ran it by the Paris priest, Father Bernardo at St. Joe's in Ambler. Father Bernardo, shout out. May he rest in peace. And they said, well, yeah, but you got to name him Marco. My mom, being of Polish descent, thought Marco was a little too of the Italian ethnicity and said, no, you got to have a healthy mix of both. So I just got Mark with a C, and that's that. That's the history of my name. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, this is great. You say you never know what you're getting on the Power Hour. But what I was going to say was, in our lifetime, because I was born about a week after the 1983 NBA Finals.
Okay.
We've only seen the Sixers go to the finals once, man. One time in 40 years.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if the Philadelphia Eagles had only got to the Super Bowl once over the last 40 years and lost? I mean, we would be losing our damn minds. So I agree with you in certain respects that the bar should be getting to the finals. I just don't think it's going to happen this year.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I don't have crazy visions that they're getting there this year.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But here's the thing. Unlike 83, unlike 2001, there was no process. I mean, many other Sixers fans said, all right, you know what? We've been in the Andre Iguodala realm of mediocrity long enough. It is time to break this down, to build it back up. And I remember asking people at the time, how many years are you willing to forfeit of thinking your team has any chance at even making the playoffs in order to think that they're going to acquire enough assets, stockpile enough talent, enough picks, and be able to finally make that push? Well, a lot of people said 3 years. I'll give it 3 years to really build something here. You can tank for a Joel Embiid, all right? But if you have a full-blown process where you're dedicated to losing and acquiring assets, you better be in an NBA Finals in the very near future. You better be a legit NBA title contender. And look, I don't know if you believe in karma, then the Sixers are certainly getting their karma, considering 2 number 1 overall picks did not last here. They did not help you get into an NBA Finals. They didn't help you get past the second round of the NBA Finals. The Sixers had an opportunity, and I remember saying this at the time, and as of right now, this looks like what we're going to be experiencing. When I tell my grandchildren, the future Mark Ivoroni Farzetta, right? Not my middle name, but anyway. When I tell my grandchildren about the process, I don't want to have to say that it all came tumbling down when they got rid of Jimmy Butler and they decided to hold on to Ben Simmons. I'd like to say there's a better ending to that story. I just don't know if I will.
It's possible. And you bring up the sour subject of the process. The craziest thing is the only player they got from the process being Joel Embiid, they probably wouldn't have drafted him if they would have gotten the number 1 or number 2 overall pick that year.
Yeah.
They got the 3rd overall pick, and what was it? Andrew Wiggins went and Jabari Parker went, and then Embiid sitting there with his broken foot at home or whatever it was he had.
Yes.
So, I mean, the process was a disaster. It was a disaster. But anyway,
no debate. Unless the Sixers end up winning 3 championships in a row, don't see it happening. Yes, the process was a failure. It's not even a question.
So we'll see what happens. For me, and you set the bar at the NBA Finals, which I agree. But for me, I could take some solace in this season even if they make it to the play-in tournament, if they win and then they beat the Milwaukee Bucks. If they can knock Doc Rivers out, maybe I'm petty, but to me that would be some sort of success this season. Is let's beat Doc Rivers in a 7-game series. That would be good to me.
Yeah, I think that'd be nice. I think that we would all enjoy the hell out of that. That's for sure.
All right, let's switch over to the Fightin' Phils.
Okay.
So some idiot named Bill Colarulo tweeted out yesterday, should we be concerned about Bryce Harper? And I asked the question, and then I cited his stats. He was 5 of 28 in spring training with 0 home runs, had barely got the ball off the ground. He then started the season, his first 3 games, because there was a rest day in there, 0 for 11. Something looked off, and I said, hey, I know it's a marathon. I'm not concerned yet, but something looks off. How did Bryce Harper do last night, Farzi?
I was watching the Phillies play. They played yesterday. I thought, no,
oh my God, what a night for Bryce.
So I was saying on yesterday morning show, I was saying there's an encouraging thing with Bryce Harper here that got shot a little bit last night. So I'm watching him in his first 3 at bats. I think it was 0 for 5 in total 2 nights ago. And he was squaring up some pitches rather well. He had the comebacker to Andrew Abbott that he snagged out of the air. I think it was a 2-1 fastball that he got, and he just tattooed it right back up the middle, but line drive, and Abbott, his reaction time was on point, and he made the catch, and that was that. But I thought, all right, he squared that up. Later in the game, he comes up with some men on. He's an opportunity to really do some damage, and he just swings under a fastball, flies out the left field. I'm like, all right, he looks like he's getting timing down. And then in the 10th inning, he struck out, I believe it was 3 fastballs in total, including 1 ginormous-sized, juicy meatball over the heart of the plate that he just whiffed on. And I thought, okay, well, maybe that timing ain't so great. So I went into last night's game, of course, hoping that he would break out of it. And truth be told, because I was so focused on what was going on with the Sixers, I didn't even catch the start of the Phillies game. So I got the ESPN alert that comes up, like Bryce Harper homered. And I'm like, oh, wow, they didn't delay the game because of rain. And he hit a home run. Oh, my God, there you go, Bryce Harper. That a boy.
Yep.
And then the second, and then the grand slam. And you look at the pitches that he hit. Went with a pitch that caught a lot of the plate, sure, but it was still on the outer half of the plate. Went with the pitch to opposite field on a sinker. And then he went and golfed out a slider for the second home run. And then the sinker that he hit the grand slam off of, that was in Nick Castellanos territory, from where Nick Castellanos would swing on the other side of the plate, the ball in the dirt. That ball just about kicked up a little bit of dirt before Bryce Harper took out the old 7-iron and just plunked that thing into the right field stands. I don't know how he hit it, but he went down and he got it. It was not a good pitch to hit, but talk about going with a pitch. Oh, he went with that pitch, and he took it for a long ride. So to see that kind of not versatility, but range across the plate from where he was able to make solid contact shows me that the back is certainly healthy, shows me that the camera could not even do in Bryce Harper this time around, and it shows me that absolutely he's got his timing down now.
Yeah, I think we all almost had a heart attack when he went into that camera well. What's crazy, though, is so I do that tweet yesterday, and I was saying before you came on the show, people must bookmark it just so that they can prove you wrong. He hits his first home run, and I got a bunch of people retweeting, quote tweeting me, whatever. Then he hits his second home run, and now they're really coming after me. And I'm at the Fanatic last night because I had to do the Sixers postgame show, and the producer comes running in because I'm watching the Sixers. He's like, dude, he just hit a grand slam. I'm like, oh, my God. And then I go on Twitter, and it's all these people coming at me, and then they tag that frozen takes or whatever it is. You know that?
Ice cold takes, yeah.
Ice cold takes. So I'm waiting for them to retweet my bad take now. But I didn't say I was worried. I said, should we be worried? No.
Oh,
I had to do an apology post.
Don't you hedge it. Don't you hedge it, Bill Colarulo.
I know. I did an apology post.
Yeah, hedging bastard, you.
I know. What a mess. But love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. And you also love to see, how about Spencer Turnbull coming back from Tommy John? He looked good yesterday.
Okay. What's more unbelievable? Bryce Harper hitting 3 home runs or 5 innings of 1-run unearned baseball?
With 7 Ks.
With 7 strikeouts. It's one of those things where, okay, so Wheeler's going today. The game's been pushed back to 4:05. Hopefully that's when they're able to get it started. Nola gets tattooed. The bullpen has been tattooed. Ranger Suarez has been on point, which is great because for Sanchez has been on point. And Spencer, the worst start of the season, first time through the rotation, was, of course, none other than Aaron Nola. Spencer Turnbull put in one hell of a performance last night. And then to see, what are they calling him? Ricky Beans or something like that. Ricardo Pinto. All right. Yeah. See him go out there, start the day in Rochester, New York, which, by the way, I spent a small part of my life in Rochester, New York. To make the drive down from there with Lehigh Valley to Philly, get caught in traffic, show up in the fourth inning, say hi to your boss in Rob Thompson and be like, there's traffic. And then you just go to the bullpen and you come out and you throw, four innings? Not too shabby, son. Not too shabby.
Yeah,
after the amount of pitchers that had been, and the amount of pitchers that were used, it was great to have a 2-pitcher performance in a day where I totally did not expect a 2-pitcher performance.
No, I'm sure Topper didn't expect that either, but it worked out. Now, do you think they get the game in today? As of right now, it's on for 4 o'clock.
Yeah. I am the farthest thing from a weatherman and even farther from a meteorologist.
Yeah, but meteorologists don't know either, so just guess.
So they take the most educated guess out of all of us.
You got the best shot.
They get it in. They get it in today. Hell yeah. Let's go, weather.
So this weather kills me because I'll cover for Ricky Bo on the best show ever if there's a game. But if there's not a game, he doesn't need to do his Philly stuff. So now I'm like, well, what am I doing? Am I coming or am I not coming?
Right.
So
That's
I'm going to drive up to Bala Cynwyd and just sit there. And then if the game gets rained out, it's like, okay.
Yeah, you go to
drive.
What's
good.
What's the cheesesteak place in Mama's or something like that? There's a place right by. There's a place by that. I could be totally wrong. I think it's Mama's. Either way, they got the nice Chipotle. They have a nice Chipotle. They have a lovely Target. The Target there is amazing.
Honeygrow over there. I'm a big Honeygrow guy.
Honeygrov's fine. There's a lady. There's an older lady at the Target there that always tells me I have Jake Gyllenhaal eyes.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, easy, lady.
Is your wife watching this show?
Who wants to make my wife jealous? Anyway, yeah, but I always say thank you, ma'am. I don't know what to say to that, but okay.
So people are getting on us in the chat about flip-flopping on the Phillies. So because I was a little concerned. I was preaching some patience, but I was concerned about Harper, as I said. But hey, you can't. This is what I've been yelling at my Power Hour crew. The same thing with Embiid and his 6 turnovers. You got to enjoy the positives when they come. And last night was a great night in South Philadelphia. The Sixers win, and Embiid comes back. He looked good. The Phillies win. Bryce Harper was unconscious last night. But let's talk about something that I haven't been positive about, and you and I haven't had a chance to talk, and that's the Haason Reddick trade. So yesterday, and Big Sills reported, now I don't know how accurate it was or not, but obviously he heard it from somebody, that the reason they traded Haason Reddick was because Vic Fangio didn't want him. Now, I don't know how a guy who's been a defensive coordinator for 20 years in the NFL couldn't figure out a way to use somebody like Haason Reddick. I hate the trade. I've been very, very critical of the trade. I don't think it makes you better this coming season. I don't think it helps you with the salary cap. I don't think it brings back assets that you can utilize until 2026. And everything you've done up until this point says, hey, we're all in. And then you do this. What's your thoughts on the Reddick trade?
So here's what I think gives credibility to that report. Haason Reddick will most likely, with Vic Fangio, be dropped back in coverage more often the upcoming season. Let's say Haason Reddick is still here in Philadelphia. He's going to get dropped back considerably more. No, that makes sense. Most likely.
Yeah.
What was Haason Reddick's reaction to getting dropped back 7 times in coverage, which was a high in his time as a Philadelphia Eagle? What was his reaction to that, Bill Colarulo? Do you remember his reaction to that? Getting dropped back and covered 7 times under Matt Patricia's defense. Do you remember that reaction?
He wasn't very happy.
He wasn't very happy about it, was he? No, he wasn't.
However, I'm going to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt.
Who Haason Reddick?
Haason Reddick, because was he unhappy because he's a selfish player, or was he unhappy because I want a new deal this offseason, and when you drop me back into coverage, and it looks as if I'm not getting production, then you're going to try to use this against me in our negotiations this offseason. I mean, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt there, whereas if he would have got paid this year, and if it was, hey, listen, we're going to give you the extension, because I do think they should have given him more money. I know there's people who said he should just shut up and play under his deal. I think they should have extended him. I think they should have given him a 2-year extension. I would have been okay going up to close to $25 million a year. We'll see what the Jets give him.
Wow.
But
yeah, if the Jets give him anything.
Yeah, I think they will. I think they will. But if the Jets give him 25 or less, I think the Eagles should have matched it. But I think if the Eagles would have done that, I don't think he would have cared necessarily about how he was being utilized, especially if they're winning games. I think winning cures a lot of problems. But
certainly, well, here's what I'll say to that: when Haason Reddick sat down as a Philadelphia Eagle for the first time at the NovaCare complex and addressed the media, he actually answered the question honestly that a lot of players get when they're just joining a new team, and that question is, when are you at your best, or when do you feel you're at your best? What do you do best on the field? What puts you in the best position, and all that? And he didn't just say, "Oh, whatever helps the team," like a lot of people do. He said, when I'm playing downhill, when I'm playing aggressive, when I'm allowed to use my speed to get after the quarterback. That's not going to be Vic Fangio's defense, unfortunately. So I think that's how he wants to play. And what did he highlight in his press conference with the Jets when he got introduced up there in North Jersey? He talked about being aggressive. He talked about the dogs on that defense. And then I have to believe it, he trolled us a little bit there, Big Bills. He trolled us. He said, I'm bringing that brotherly love.
Yeah,
brotherly love to North Jersey. Damn it, Haason Reddick. You're a Camden guy. You can't be bringing any kind of love to the north part of it. You go past Middleton, forget about it. You can't have the love up there. Bring a camaraderie to the locker room. Come on.
I didn't like that. I did not like that. But
you're right. There better be a contract extension. Otherwise, I'm going to be really pissed. Or there better be a move out there, Justin Simmons, that the Eagles feel like they're going to spend money on to really bolster this defense. Because the Reed Blankenship deal is fine, but it's not
it was
a 5-year deal. Yeah, fine.
I mean, it was smart. You get him extended. But see, you just said a name. Now, you just said Justin Simmons. And
oh, did I?
And I would be okay with them bringing in Justin Simmons because I do think they need some help on the back end. But there are a lot of fans who are supporting the Reddick trade by saying, look, he's going to be 30 years old. You can't pay 30-year-old players. Well, Justin Simmons is 30 years old. So why are we okay with bringing in Justin Simmons but not keeping a Haason Reddick who has produced 4 years in a row, hasn't missed a game his entire career, has played every single game in an Eagles uniform, over 74% of the snaps? But why are we so quick to say, yeah, you need to trade him because he's 30, but we'll sign a Justin Simmons?
Because Justin Simmons is still a very good football player. Justin Simmons speaks Vic Fangio. And Justin Simmons, before he was released by the Broncos, even though he probably had a hint he was getting released by the Broncos, spoke very highly of Vic Fangio to the Inquirer during the Pro Bowl, during Pro Bowl weekend, I should say.
I remember
so that's why people will be looking. And also, you can get better at that situation. At least with the Eagles, people will go, okay, well, they got Bryce Huff. They have Josh Sweat. And they'll hold out hope for Nolan Smith, who, by the way, I forgot existed. I have to be honest. When you're a 22-year-old and you're talking about after your first preseason game how your shoulder decides to work.
Yeah, that was
sometimes I went, oh, wait a minute. So everyone was all, piling on to Kobe Dean for a shoulder injury in college that he was like, wait, it's not a problem anymore. What's the deal? But then Nolan Smith is a first-round pick that people forget about because of Jalen Carter, and he's talking about how his shoulder literally is bothering him. Great.
Yeah, not great. Not great.
Yeah.
But, so I see people in the chat, though, and they're talking about how, hey, if you give Haason Reddick $25 million, he better play like Nick Bosa. But the difference is the salary cap went up a record high. So I think you got to look at all these things because it's all relative. The salary cap went up a record high, and it's going to go up again next year. I keep comparing it to the deal the Texans gave Danielle Hunter from Minnesota. He's also going to be 30 in October. They gave him 2 years, $24.5 million a year. If Reddick gets a deal like that from the Jets, then I think you should have matched it because it just doesn't make sense. You went all in by signing Saquon Barkley to what's essentially a 2-year deal, Farzy. I mean, Saquon, after the second year, they're either going to renegotiate it or they can move on. There's an out after 2 years. So why wouldn't you keep your best defensive player? And you are putting a lot of pressure now on Nolan Smith. You are putting a lot of pressure on Bryce Huff. And I'm hopeful both of those guys are going to be good players. But the way I look at it is now you took the one position where there weren't question marks and you put question marks on it. Hopefully Nolan Smith can play. Hopefully Bryce Huff can play more than 480 snaps next year. And you still have questions at linebacker and safety and corner. So I don't like it.
I don't like it. I'm with you. I don't like it even a little bit. You're a better team with them, and you have money. What's the problem? How much are they under the cap now? 30 million?
Yeah, they're still 30 million under the cap.
Yeah, between 30 and 32 million. So you got the money. As of right now, Haason Reddick is still playing for 14.5 million. So there better be another move coming, and there also better be, because if he just goes up to New York for 14.5, whatever, then it's an absolute waste of a move for the Eagles. So it doesn't make sense.
That would be frustrating. Anyway, my friend, what else you got going on the rest of the week? Anything good?
Well, if anyone caught me on Birds 365 last week, I'm working on a floating shelf. So I got that going on. I'm almost done. I'm in the process of sanding it. Already cut out the hole in the top there for the wires, because you got to hide the wires, Bill. And then I'm going to put a nice tongue oil on it. You know what I mean? Make a nice little sheen, not too much sheen, like a polyurethane, but just enough to bring out the grain in the wood. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking a foreign language to me, man. I can't hammer a nail.
I literally just put nails in the top just to secure the glue. And then are
we going to be able to see the floating shelf? Is it going behind you, or is this going upstairs somewhere?
Oh, it's going. No, it's going in the living room, man. Got too many wires there for the kids to grab onto. Like my son, Leo. We both have sons named Leo, which is hilarious.
Yes,
Leo, he will just anything that looks like a wire, he'll just pull and rip it out of the wall. So I got to make sure I hide all those.
Wait, how old are your kids?
Manuel's 4. She'll be 5 this summer. Leo just turned 2.
Got it. So you're younger than mine. So I got a 9-year-old, and then Leo is 5. I just got them a trampoline. They got a surprise trampoline for Easter, which is great, but I didn't realize that they're in it, and I'm panicking the whole time that they're going to kill each other. I didn't realize that.
Did you dig a hole, or did you just set it up on top of the ground?
No, it's on top of the ground, but it's one of those springless that's completely wrapped, like with the net, so that they can't. So that he can't fall. So I'm not worried about them falling off. It's just them bumping into each other and splitting their eye open or whatever. But, I got to stop worrying. Like, when you were a kid, you didn't worry about any of that. Like, I was on trampolines that had no sides, were jumping off sheds and stuff. Yeah. Now my kids, I'm like, hey, you guys got to be careful. But it's got a basketball net in there.
I was just getting, all right, I'm coming over. I'm coming over. The minute this storm breaks, I'm coming over. We're dunking. Dunk contest. Eric Colarulo.
Although my knee's hurting me, dude, we're getting old, man.
It does suck.
I can't even go. Like, they want me to keep jumping on with them, and then after 3 minutes, I'm like, Daddy's got to rest.
Yeah, my daughter's going through a big uppies phase. I want uppies, and I'm like, my back is hurting so much. But it's so cute when you ask. Anyway, other than that,
old, bro.
Other than that, hopefully the Phillies game tonight. Hopefully, got the Phillies game going on. Flyers are off for a couple days here. Sixers are back at it tomorrow. So here's what I hope happens. I hope we get news of the Eagles signing Justin Simmons.
That might be good.
And then,
I said this last night. I tweeted this out last night. The whole city's buzzing about Bryce Harper and Joel Embiid. So Howie Roseman's sitting there like, what do I got to do to get them talking Eagles again?
Yeah.
How about do?
He trades Haason Reddick. The Phillies are playing. Man, what the hell,
that
man?
was a news dump, though, man. That was a news dump. That's how you knew that it was a bad trade. Because they would never, if it was a big trade, they wouldn't have done it then on a Friday afternoon before spring break. They tried to, that's PR 101, Farzy,
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Well, I appreciate you changing up your schedule for us today, my man.
You sure don't want me to join you again tomorrow? I mean, it's what the people want, Bill.
It's maybe. Maybe. I got Kayla coming on tomorrow. Should we do all three of us? Kayla's she is losing her mind over the Joel Embiid stuff. So I can't wait to get her on to talk about.
That's a whole lot of culture. Between Colarulo, Santiago, and Farzetta. That's a lot. There's a lot going on. I just talked to Kayla recently. Yeah, that's a lot going on there. I don't know if the people are ready.
She does a great job. Well, have a great day, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
Back at you, brother. See you soon.
See you, man. Wow, flexing and stepping. You taking a shot at my man Farzy, or you just love Kayla? I know you just love Kayla. You love Kayla. But that was fun. Talking some Sixers, talking some Phillies. But there is no doubt in my mind that we're going to hear something from the Philadelphia Eagles in the next few days, because there's no way that the Eagles are just going to sit back and not do anything with all this sour taste in everybody's mouth about the Haason Reddick trade. Something's going to happen. They need the spotlight back on them. They do. But like we end every Philly Sports Power Hour with a little today in sports history. Well, I love my hockey. So today, April 3rd, 1988, Mario Lemieux won the NHL scoring title. And the reason that was important is it broke Wayne Gretzky's 7-year streak. Wayne Gretzky had the scoring title for 7 straight seasons, but in 1988, April 3rd, Mario Lemieux beat him out, I should say, with 168 points, and then he followed it up the next year with 199 points, coming one shy of 200. That was our Philly Sports Power Hour today in sports history a couple weeks ago. Gretzky is the only one that ever scored 200 points. Lemieux got close, missed it by 1 point. Slagger 57. Hold on. What do you want to talk about here? Lurie told the fans we'd be happy with the Reddick situation, so they kind of have to do something positive with another player that they can connect to that move. Yeah, he said it at the owners' meeting that this was going to work out and everything was going to be great. Well, it's not great. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And we still have to see what the Jets will pay Haason Reddick, but I am firmly of the belief if it's $25 million or less, I think the Eagles should have done it. Now, if they pay him over $25 million, I will reconsider my thoughts on this situation because maybe you don't pay him that much money. But we'll see how it all shakes out. We'll keep monitoring it. But be back here tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Should have Kayla Santiago on. Talk some Sixers with her. Talk some Eagles with her as well. Hit that like button for me. Hit that share button. See everybody tomorrow. And as always, go Birds.